U.S. Representative Chellie Pingree is in the studio with us here on Maine's Coast 93.1. Good morning, Chellie. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. You're the first radio show that let me wear the earphones, and I feel a lot more important now.
Nobody else in the Portland radio group has let you wear earphones, really?
No, I don't kind of have the same ranking there, apparently. But this is good. I feel like you guys kind of...
Yeah, I mean,
part of the gang.
You're like on the radio.
Right,
Exactly.
you can hear stuff besides just the room noise and stuff. I think it's much more welcoming and accommodating.
Plus, I find that when I don't have them on, I yell as if I have to get the whole room in.
Right.
I don't know, it's weird. So.
That's good to know. I just
You're
need to
having
get
very
a picture
good hair day
first.
today.
Yes, you are
thank
having
you.
a great
And I
hair
think
day.
the hair and the ear... I mean, it's going to work.
I think it all works, absolutely. And is it like a silver necklace you're wearing, too? That's beautiful. No,
Yeah, my daughters dress me.
Really?
I've got
Yeah.
people who check me before I go out
Hannah?
in the morning.
You have another daughter, too?
Hannah, I have a daughter named Cecily who's even more fashionable than Hannah.
Really?
But
Yeah, but she's not a political gal like you guys are?
she is a filmmaker and right now a substitute teacher. So.
Good for her.
Where's she subbing?
On North Haven, where she grew up and went to school. And actually, they're here in Portland for a little school field trip today. So shout out to the class.
Hey, shout out.
How shade...
It's Monday. Eva didn't get a lot of sleep this weekend.
I can take your job.
Eva has had a friend visiting from Los Angeles for the past weekend, and not a lot of sleep.
A lot of late nights in the
You know,
lot of
old
happy
house.
hours. Yeah.
Yes, and I actually gave the graduation speech at Buckfield High
No
School
kidding.
on Friday night in Buckfield, Maine, and they gave me an honorary diploma.
Her
Which I thought
first
was-
one.
Hey, wait,
Yes, 'cause I
isn't
didn't get one
Buckfield
the
where
first
the
time.
Diet Coke guys come from and the
Yes,
fizzy things?
Yes.
and Patrick Dempsey, and they were telling me all the famous
Wait,
people.
Patrick Dempsey?
Well,
Yeah,
he was-
he didn't
Buckfield?
graduate from
No, he
there,
was
but
born
he
in
went
Buckfield,
there.
but he went to St. Dom's in Auburn.
And the Mentos Diet Coke, good for
I
you.
love
And then there
those
was
guys.
one more person, and I was like, wow.
Wow. I did the Freeport graduation this weekend, but had I known that people were in Buckfield, I would have come just to watch.
And watch me rush through it. I'm the worst public speaker ever.
No.
She gets
You would
nervous.
think I would be good, but I'm not. 'Cause when
I mean, Chellie, you've done a
What
lot.
about you,
Graduations
Chellie?
are nerve-wracking, though. Lots on the line.
And
It's a
yeah,
big
these
day.
kids are looking to you, and I want to say, it's a tough road to hoe. But you know what? You don't want to say that. You want to be like, it's exciting.
Yeah, wear your sunscreen.
Shelley, you've done a lot of public speaking, obviously, in over your career and stuff. What would you give Eva for tips, on how to sort of maintain her cool and not get
How do you slow
rattled?
down your talking? Because I always rush through it.
I am the worst. I do a lot of public speaking. I've learned a lot over the years, and you get better over time. But it's funny because people say that to me all the time. You talk too fast, but you have so much you want to say. When you're up there, you're like, oh, I got to rush it all in here.
Right. Now, do
It
you
is
look
hard.
at one person and make eye contact, or you try and sweep the room, or do you
I
not see it?
sweep the room and I look around, and I do look. I have to say, if people kind of look like they're bored and nodding off, I try to
Right.
pick up the pace and get it over with for them. And if they look like they're really engaged, I sort of slow down and say, hey, maybe they're interested in this.
See, I guess I always try and find one person who's smiling, and that's
Yeah.
like my go-to
You focus
person.
on that
right.
person.
You do have to think about it like a conversation. That's part of what I think is like, don't think you're giving a speech, think you're having a conversation,
Right.
that's a little more flowery.
Right.
I bet you were great. I bet those kids are inspired. They're probably, making big plans right now. Hey, you
You're so
inspired the
great.
Mentos guy.
I'm telling you, yeah. All right. Well,
Shelley-
anyway, that was
Shelley-
very honoring.
Chellie Pingree joins us in the studio this morning here on Maine's Coast 93.1. Hope you had a nice weekend. Old Port Festival, of course, was jam-packed yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't get my share of that lobster roll, but I heard it was even bigger than they expected.
Almost
That's amazing.
62 feet long.
Yeah.
I guess Amados must have made the roll longer than the Linda Beans people expected because, man, they had a lot to fill. And, of course, one of the reasons why we want to talk to you this morning as well, too, is this whole, you've probably heard about this, the performance tax issue, which I don't know what the status of it is right at this moment. I mean, you would know more about that than I would, but record labels, and we were talking to the guy from the National Association Broadcasters a couple weeks ago. There's 4 major record labels. All of them are out of country, offshore. Three are offshore, are foreign countries, foreign companies and stuff. And they want to tax, or the idea is they want to tax radio stations for playing their music. I mean, radio stations promote their music by playing them, so we get the music free to play the songs so they can sell more copies of their whatever it is they're selling, CDs or whatever. But does it seem fair to you to tax us?
You're making a good argument, and I've been hearing a lot about this lately, particularly from a lot of Maine small stations, which are very worried about just staying in business, and we know we've lost a few of them.
It could be a crushing
over
blow
the
to a
past
lot
few
of
years.
smaller buildings.
Right. We also hear from performers who say, how come composers already get paid for this music? And the big issue right now is that internet radio is already assessing this, so it's already in the law. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of discussion before this ever gets passed. There's actually a GAO study that's not even going to come out until November. So there's a good chance this is going to be put on the back burner for quite quite a while. And I think we are trying to get some kind of balance to this. And believe me, I certainly have a big concern for our radio stations in Maine, where, as I said, we've already lost quite a few. And it's an important way for people to get information and, of course, their music.
And just so people know, we do pay a performance, we do pay to the Performance Rights Organization.
And BMI and all that.
And CSAC. We do pay some kind of a nominal fee, obviously, every time we play a song. And the writers and the publishers get money. So a lot of people think it's because the model of the record labels is no longer a viable model. And people don't buy CDs for $16 anymore. They buy 99 cents.
Right, on iTunes.
I
They should be taxing iTunes more than tax us.
That, I don't know what the... it's like we're not a cash cow here.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And I mean,
it could direly affect us. So
it could drive very fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting things about these issues, and I know for you guys, this is your business and your livelihood, but for us, it's kind of like the one way you start to figure out how all this stuff works. People put a bill before you, and then they start negotiating it, and it never ends up exactly where it starts. So this is the very kind of dialogue that kind of gets us to the end point of saying, wait a minute, are we trying to save radio here or performers? Or, like you said, is the whole model changing? People get their music off the internet now, iTunes. It's very different than it used to be, and we're part of this huge conversion, really, of the CD record business.
Right. It would just be too bad if we could no longer afford to play music, and then we became a talk station, and then Tim would be fired.
Right, I'm sure I'd be fired quickly.
Well, you don't like listening to you guys talk?
No,
well, we do.
We
like listening to us all morning long.
It would be all shopping carts all the
time.
And Pilates tips, Chellie. See, we would be fun to listen to. Makeup tips,
I'm sure,
the best spray tans.
I'd want to be fired at that point. I'm sure when you got elected that you weren't expecting this sort of issue to be one of the things you'd be,
It's amazing, though. I mean, you got to deal with every possible issue. I mean, this summer we're going to spend a lot of time on the cost of gas, renewable energy, healthcare is people's number one. So we've got a lot of big issues out there, but you got to deal with them all.
What about, where do we stand, with the whole, the car industry, the auto industry? I mean,
Yeah, that's a good question. This week the issue is these local dealerships, because actually that's probably having a bigger impact here in Maine than the bailout of the auto industry. And so we actually just signed onto a letter just asking them to take a second look at some of these car dealerships. The convoluted way this is going on is that some of the more profitable dealerships are actually being driven out, and some of the ones that maybe could be afford to shut down aren't. And so we're just trying to, now that we're in the auto industry business, as you know, taxpayer investment has gone in there, which is kind of shaky anyway, but we want to make sure that car dealerships in Maine, which many of them are big local employers or important places
and advertisers,
to go. Absolutely. They're a big part of our media business here in Maine, actually. So we're kind of asking them to take a second look, because when they restructure this business, it's easier for them to buy out some of these big profitable businesses right now instead of keep them going because they're in bankruptcy. Anyway, it's a little too convoluted to explain, but we're just trying to look hard before we do something.
And I
dramatic.
guess a lot of people I notice on a lot of these websites are would you buy? People I think are gun shy, because if you buy a Chrysler, does that mean the warranty in 2 years is
right?
Where's the
it's
dealer
like
the follow through is kind of, so somebody should really put all that to those fears to rest.
It's one of the reasons the president kind of went right out there and said, look, your warranty is going to be good. And this week, actually, we're likely to have this cash for clunkers bill comes up, which is actually to encourage people to buy more American cars.
You can trade in your car.
Yeah, no, I definitely would.
If you buy a car with better gas mileage, that's the idea, is to get some of the gas mileage has improved. You're actually going to get a big credit, kind of like the first home buyers have, and that's really been a big help in the home buying industry. Is these first home buyer credits,
and it's making a turnaround a little bit.
Yeah, so we're hoping that some of that could do it. And frankly, we want to have more American manufacturing jobs. We ought to be the best car manufacturers in the world, and we've really lost that place here in America.
Right. I have an American car.
I have an American car. Hey.
Chellie Pingree joins us in the Coast Studio this morning here on Maine's Coast 93. Before we let you go, you seen any movies yet this summer?
Oh my God, I haven't seen a movie yet this
really?
summer.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever see Twilight?
No.
Oh,
Did you ever read the books?
No.
Good for you. No,
I do not have a life. What's up?
No, go see a movie.
You're in Congress.
Oh,
right. Well, you got a
got
job.
a lot of issues.
Go out and see Up at some point.
Which one?
Up.
Okay,
the
I'm
new
on
Pixar
it.
movie. It's it's a kid movie. It's a
I
cartoon.
love cartoons,
but it's a fantastic movie. It really is.
I do watch. I do watch.
What? It's a good movie.
No, I
All right,
love
what
you.
If I say go see Star Trek, you're gonna totally.
No, I just think it's sweet. You know what? I think that was really sweet.
I like cartoons. I watch
you to have a
SpongeBob SquarePants on my iTunes.
There you go.
Okay, it's not SpongeBob.
All right, and I do watch Grey's Anatomy too. That's more sophisticated, but only on my computer.
No, actually, I think SpongeBob may be more sophisticated than Grey's Anatomy.
I'm
telling you.
I should never have told you that. I take it all back. I take it all back.
No.
Chellie Pingree in the studio this morning here at Maine's Coast.
Hi,
Thank you very much,
Chellie.
Thank you, Chellie.